I'm Jess. This week on The Traumatized and the Abandoned, I am both the traumatized and the abandoned. Nikki, who is usually my partner in crime, is officially on maternity leave. Mom and baby are doing amazing. She had a beautiful little baby girl and she is just so perfect. So we are sending all the love and good thoughts, prayers, whatever you got, throw them their way. Love that they're getting this time together to bond. And yeah, we miss you. So you guys got me. You're stuck with me for the next couple weeks. So buckle up. Just kidding. So this week on The Traumatized and the Abandoned, we're going to be talking about some urban legends. A little bit of cryptids in there, mostly urban legends. So yeah, this is really weird. Just chit-chatting. I guess I'll just catch you guys up on my life. Nothing too crazy. I have my grandfather's burial coming up. So dealing with that, still in therapy. Again, 10 out of 10 would recommend therapy, guys. It really helps you work through a lot of stuff. Definitely feeling better mentally. So really excited. Guys, we're in the middle of October. Okay, fall is my favorite season. October is amazing. We got Halloween coming up. So I'm just gonna kind of dive into I'm getting into the mood, all right? I'm getting into the mood of some spooky, especially with these urban legends and cryptids today. But first, we're going to get into the fun fact of the day. The fun facts of the day. This isn't as cool. I miss Nikki. Anyway. If any of you are wondering what is going on, why I'm acting so spastic, go back and watch our other episodes. Also, this is episode 69. What up? Watch the other 68 episodes because usually there's two of us and we kind of bounce off of each other. Today, you're just stuck with me. Anyway, so the fun fact of the day. Did you know that dead skin cells are the main ingredient in household dust? According to researchers at Imperial College London, the humans shed around 200 million skin cells an hour. They have to go somewhere because usually we're indoors. So yeah, that's dust. That's what dust is. I never knew. I didn't think I needed to know. And now that I know, you guys have to know. So you're welcome. Now, if the idea of skin dust isn't settling well with you, you should know that another report from the American Chemical Society found that skin oil called squalene naturally helps reduce indoor ozone levels by 15%. So breathing in dead skin cells, but it's helping the indoor ozone level. So there's that. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys had an amazing week. I am ready to get into some urban legends and cryptids. So again, spooky season is upon us. We are here and we're going to be talking about some creepy kids. All right. So creepy kid urban legends and cryptids. Buckle up because it gets creepy. First one we're going to dive into is the water babies of Idaho. Now, if you guys have ever heard of these, I had never heard of these. I mentioned them to Nikki. She was like, ooh. So she had heard of them. I hadn't. So water babies are typically known for two very different things. Okay. On one side, Water Babies was a children's novel written by Charles Kingsley. The book was extremely popular in the United Kingdom and was a major part of British children's literature for many decades. However, on the flip side of things, the American urban legend of the Water Babies is much more sinister. So, hundreds of years ago, the Shoshone tribe inhabited the areas around Pocatello, Idaho. One year, they experienced extreme famine. Now, this famine went on for weeks to the point where they just had no food left at all. The mothers couldn't stand watching their children starve, and with no end in sight, they decided to buckle up. They decided to drop them into the lake in the area presently known as Massacre Rock State Park. Now, it is said that Massacre Rock actually got its name from the narrow passage through the area's boulder configurations. Settlers traveling through the passages feared being ambushed by Native Americans, although it is unverified that altercations ever actually happened there. Now, the Snake River runs right through Massacre Rock and is believed to be the main spot of paranormal activity. Some people believe that these children haunt the waters. However, some people say that they were actually able to adapt and survive. It is said that after the babies were drowned, they changed and grew fins and gills. So they took on more of like a reptilian look to them. And in order to survive in the water, they started eating fish. People have reported seeing water spirits playing in the canals and rivers in the Massacre Rocks area. It is also said that if you do go around this area, you can hear them at night crying all night long. But if you do hear them crying, do not go looking to help them, as they will grab you and pull you in, and then you will join them. There is no denying the beauty of this area today and the rich history that goes along with it. Of course, there's no way of telling whether the sad legend behind Massacre Rocks is true or not, but if you do find yourself there and you go down to the riverbank, you may just hear the distant sound of a baby crying. So, what do you guys think? And it was a lot there. Do you guys, so the famine was documented. That was an experience, so I don't know. There's also different types of water babies. Apparently, they just kind of like appear across the United States too. So that's fun. The next one, also, I don't know if I said this in the beginning, and I absolutely should have. We're doing 3 different stories because urban legends and cryptids are tiny, so I'm going to try to make this as long as I can. I gotta slow down though. The next one we're going to be talking about is Dead Children's Playground. At first glance, Maple Hill Playground looks like a typical neighborhood playground. However, according to urban legends, hundreds of children hunt this Alabama playground. Now, this playground is surrounded on 3 sides by limestone that formed many caves in the area, giving it a shadowed appearance that lends itself to the spooky legends. The proximity to the historic cemetery doesn't hurt either. So, the urban legend goes. Over 100 years ago, in Huntsville, Alabama, hundreds of children were killed by the Spanish flu. But since so many children needed to be buried, the cemetery quickly filled, so they had to bury some of them at what was later known as Maple Hill Playground. Again, according to legend, they are stuck in this park, but they also don't want to leave. At night, they come out and play. They're at a playground, guys. What kid doesn't love a playground, right? They play on the swings, the jungle gym, all that good stuff. So many people have reported hearing them laugh and scream. Passerbys often say they can see the swings moving on their own volition, as well as, obviously, ghost orbs or spectral figures. Now, if you do ever hear them playing, don't follow them. Otherwise, you may end up being buried with them as well. Now, it is true, many children as well as adults died during the worldwide pandemic, which killed an estimate of 50 million people worldwide. And it did hit Huntsville particularly hard. Hospital beds were filled and doctors were working long shifts in hopes of easing some patients' misery. Many patients were treated at home with large quarantine signs on the door, a practice which resulted in the disease spreading through the entire family. Bodies were often stacked on wagons and hauled to morgues by horses. To try to prevent the spread of disease, parents cautioned children to leave the windows closed. This sing-song rhyme was a reminder. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys are aware, but so many children rhymes are very dark. I didn't know that until recently. I was like, oh, whoops. This was the rhyme. I had a bird. Its name was Enza. I opened the window. And influenza. Do you get it? It's not funny. Why did you laugh? So yeah, basically, keep your windows closed. According to the Alabama Department of Public Health, the deadly flu arrived in Alabama by way of Huntsville on September 25th, 1918. Within 10 days, it had spread to the general population. The Alabama DHP quoted on October 5th article from Birmingham News reported cases of Spanish influenza have increased to more than 1,000 in Huntsville. According to Dr. C.A. Garrote, health officer of Madison County, there have been an additional 300 cases and 7 deaths in the past 24 hours. On October 7th, the governor of Alabama ordered closure of public places statewide, including stores, schools, and churches. By October 13th, the Birmingham News reported that only 1 local pharmacist and 1 local doctor remained unaffected. A desperate situation exists in Huntsville growing out of the Spanish influenza epidemic. All druggists, physicians, and prescription clerks, except 1, have been stricken with the disease, and a distressing appeal reached Montgomery last night in telegrams for immediate help for the stricken city. Although there was no official count of the number of children who died in Huntsville during the pandemic or how many were buried in Maple Hill, the number must have been in the hundreds. Now, another version of this urban legend, which is slightly harder to back factually, is that the park was actually haunted by a serial killer and its victims, who unfortunately were all children. Between the years 1945 and 1955, the Outer Banks were home to a limestone quarry, bringing it back to the limestone. With the extraction of limestone, large pits were created, becoming cavities for hidden secrets. The local legend has it that during the 1960s, a string of child abductions terrorized the city of Huntsville. With no ransom requests for any of the children, many believed the perpetrator was not just abducting, but also killing the children. Eventually, these beliefs were proven correct when the skull of a child was found in the quarry. Further into the investigation, more skeletal remains were found along with the corpses of other recently missing children. After the revelation of the bodies, the abduction stopped, but the identity of the killer or anyone else involved was never revealed or confirmed. Now, of note, although many articles reference this local legend, I couldn't find anything like a primary source talking about the serial killer, like newspaper articles, anything to really confirm this legend. So we definitely know the Spanish influenza hit for sure. Not super 100% on the serial killer. By 1985, the land where the quarry existed had been donated to the city. Plans were then put into place and executed to build Maple Hills Park in that area, the exact area where the legend has it where the children's bodies were found. So, which do you believe? Either way, if you do decide to visit Maple Hills Park in Huntsville, Alabama, just make sure you go during the day or not, whatever floats your boat. Just be careful. And finally, we're going to talk about the Pyramid Lake babies. I don't know why I chose 2 babies, but because spooky. Are you spooked? Are you scared? Nikki's not here to laugh at me, so I don't know. Nevada's Pyramid Lake got their name from the irregular rock pyramid formation jutting just above the waterline. Located within the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe Reservation, the lake measures about 15 miles long and 11 miles wide and reaches a depth of 350 feet. From the shore of the lake, you can see conical stone formations rising out of the still waters. The limestone tufa formations were exposed when a larger ancient lake receded, and today they are not only scenic, but also are home to some rare breed of pelican. The lake is also home to the endangered kuyu, which is a fish that once was the main food of the Paiute people. However, according to local legend, these majestic stones are nothing compared to what lies underneath the water. Legends of water babies surround Pyramid Lake as well. These mysterious and dangerous spirits are said to mimic the sounds of crying babies to lure in their victims. So slightly different than the water babies we were talking about before. There are a number of tales that tried to give reason to the phenomena of the haunting sounds and the numerous missing people. 2 legends in particular are most commonly told by locals, one of which is referred to as the legend of the water babies and begins with the American Indian Paiute tribe, who were said to have thrown malformed and premature babies into the dark, murky waters to drown in an effort to keep their tribe strong, keeping only the children who would grow to be capable and useful members of the tribe. I know that sounds super harsh and obviously not accepted today, but that in the history of history, I know that, what were they called? The 300 people. I know the Greeks used to do it. It's an unfortunate thing of history, but it was survival of the fittest, Not great, but it happened. And so the story goes that the shrieks and cries that are heard late into the night are the ghosts of the drowned babies from the Paiute tribe. Another rendition of this haunting fable includes a Paiute tribe tribesman and a mermaid from the Pyramid Lake, who fell madly in love, only to have their union rejected by the tribe. The heartbroken mermaid was exiled from the lake by the Paiute tribe. But not only did she not leave, she remained there in growing fury, cursing the waters and seeking vengeance on any man who attempts to enter her lake. So this is where the urban legend really starts getting creepy. So buckle up. This, of course, would explain all the missing fishermen. Now, some believe this version of the story was concocted by the Paiute tribe themselves in effort to repair their name and cover up the savage and despicable actions of drowning their malformed babies. Whether you believe either one of these urban legends, it's so creepy just how many fishermen have gone missing and drowned in Pyramid Lake. So I'm going to go into some of those real quick. One woman was found deceased in the water in May 2022. 2 fishermen went missing May 2017 and were never found again. 2 fishermen went missing on New Year's Day in 2016 after their boat sank. The bodies were then found on February 8th. One of the biggest stories was actually on July 23rd, 1987, where 1 man was found dead and 3 were reported missing after a boat carrying sailors from South Dakota capsizes. So this was that report. A water skiing trip to a lake in northern Nevada by 7 San Diego-based Navy airmen on leave from a training mission has left 1 sailor dead and 3 others missing. 2 helicopters from Fallon Naval Air Station and officers from Washoe County Sheriff's Department were searching for the missing men. The 7 airplane mechanic and technicians who had been sent to the air station in Nevada for 2 weeks of training spent Tuesday, their day off, water skiing on Pyramid Lake. The sailors had rented a 15-foot boat which capsized around 7:30 when it was overwhelmed by high winds and large swells. Now, the sailors were tossed into 45-degree water. 2 survivors swam to shore and walked across barren terrain before they were able to contact the sheriff's department around midnight, nearly 5 hours after the accident occurred. A helicopter from the naval station was dispatched about 2 hours later to conduct a search. It did rescue 1 survivor from the lake. Second-class Petty Officer Brian Bruner was pulled out of the water around 8:30 a.m. Wednesday and was transported to Washoe Medical Center, where attempts to resuscitate him failed. 2 of the survivors were also taken to the hospital about 40 miles from the lake. They were later released. Apparently, they were all from San Diego. Later, the survivors were identified as Roger W. Looper, who was 35, Stephen Martin, who was 29, and Joseph Thomas, who was 29. Those still missing were Officer Thomas W. Broker, 34, Officer David Keys, 28, and Gerald Ward, 36. It is my understanding that they were never found. Now, granted, Pyramid Lake, which was 30 miles in length, is situated on Islip Paiute Indian Reservation. The gusty winds that capsized the boat often swept across popular fishing site. So, obviously this happens often, right? But what do you guys think? Do you think the lake is just super dangerous for boaters? Is there any supernatural explanation behind it? I mean, I just listed a couple, bigger ones, but a lot of other people have gone missing or, bodies have been found, which is crazy. That's crazy to me. I don't know if I necessarily believe water babies, but I mean, I do believe in like spirits and them getting pissed off. I don't know. Maybe it's a mermaid. Nikki does think that mermaids exist. She's still trying to convince me of that. Anyway, what do you guys think? I know it was a short episode. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'll try to make the next one a little beefier. But that's it for this episode. If you enjoy the podcast, don't forget to follow us. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Hi. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. Thank you. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with our username at TTATA Podcast. And in the bio of all of our social medias is our link tree, which has our email. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, hit us up. Let us know. You guys should send Nikki well wishes and I'll make sure she checks it. You guys send her, little, we're thinking of you. She'd love that. She'd love that. Thanks for listening, guys. Next week, we're going to be covering conspiracy theories, and I'm just letting you know right now, doing the Bermuda Triangle. So it's a big one. Let's go. Be there, be square. We're going to go over some of the most, I don't want to say well-known, the biggest missing cases that have happened in the Bermuda Triangle. I learned a lot, so I'm really excited to let you guys know. We're gonna keep it a little spooky thing going on, and then the week after that, guys, we're doing some scary stories by Jess, and it's gonna be a much better title than that. But yeah, looking forward to that. With that, we're gonna leave you with this inspirational quote. This was hard. It's hard to be inspirational. I miss Nikki. Keep your face towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you. And that's by Walt Whitman. It also reminds me of one of our favorite songs. It's from Home. I don't know if you guys heard of that, but I think it's by Rihanna, but it's really good. That's it. Thanks for listening, guys. Until next time. Bye.